Good morning everybody and welcome to our August vlog. Yes, I did skip July. I'm really sorry about that. I did, as I said at the end of the June vlog, I came down with quite a heavy flu. And so as for the update about the family holiday, it's pretty short and sweet really, because I was in bed most of that time, unfortunately, because I was really unwell. And so yeah, maybe it wasn't the best of family holidays from my perspective, because I was really feeling very unwell, dizzy and achy, feverish, all that kind of stuff, and a lot of congestion. So that was what I had, and it seemed to be something that was going around. A lot of people had said, oh, I had that 2 weeks ago, or I had that last week, and they were all better in time for the holiday, but I was coming down with it as we were going down there and as we were packing up and everything. So but the good thing was that a lot of the family members were really supportive, and I had a lot of help looking after the little ones, and the meals were sorted ahead of time, as I mentioned in my last vlog. So yeah, there was a lot of good sides to it, and if I was going to be sick, it was easier to be sick on holidays, honestly, than it would have been to be at home, because so much was taken care of for me. And so yes, we got back, and it took me a little while to recover and unpack and just get healthy again. And so here we are in August. I've finally managed to kind of catch up on life and get stuck into some more projects, and yeah, so I'm enjoying the end of the winter season, trying to get some plants in the ground actually. That's why I'm out here outside, just making sure I get as many plants in the ground as possible before the spring comes around. And the weather is already starting to warm up. Overnights are still quite cold, but the middle of the day it's starting to be a bit warmer when the sun's out, and so I've got another blue sky day. Can you see that beautiful blue sky behind me? And so yeah, my plan for today is to be planting and also give you some garden updates since I last showed you. So at the end of the last vlog, I had only put up these poles and not yet put any of the cable on. So I've ended up anchoring it. I've dug a concrete post into the ground as just as one that we had lying around ready to throw out. And so I've dug it into the ground and then attached this cable and this ring and the cable to it, and that runs up to the top of the post. And I've done the same thing to the concrete slab on the other side. So yeah, that's just to hold it all fast so that the poles don't get pushed in or out. And so that can be tightened with the little screw thing here. There's another one at the top on that end, and then also there's one that just a big long one that just zigzags along. It is quite slack at the moment because the cable, it just takes a little while to sort of bend and flex around these corners, and so every so often I'm just going to need to tighten that. But the main thing is I've got the trees in the ground, which I really wanted to do. So this peach is doing okay. I planted this one in the dark, so I couldn't really see the roots too well, I'll be honest. So I was hoping it'd be alright, but yeah, as you can see, it's just starting to have a few little buds of shooting leaves. I'm not 100% sure what comes first, so pretty sure they're leaves actually. Yeah, so that's the peach. And then we've got the almond on the end, and I've put the apricot in the center. And this one is doing particularly well. You can see it's shooting at every opportunity. You can see here, all the way down the stem. Lots of little shoots coming out. So that is one happy little apricot there. And yes, the almond is doing pretty as well. It's not going so vigorously as the apricot, but it definitely looks like it's surviving, so I'm super excited about that. And I'm really just envisioning like a wall of fresh green foliage, and I mean, I know it's not going to fill the whole trellis in the first year, but even just to get it a bit of green will be, and giving them a bit more foliage so they don't just look like a bunch of sticks stuck in the ground. That would be great. So I'm super excited for that. And then here is the swing set. So last I showed you, we just had the center framework where it was just 2 uprights and 1 horizontal. And so we were not sure whether we would need to do some bracing or not. Obviously we have had to do that, and I think it's just because our soil is too sandy at this particular spot. At other points in the garden it's yeah, I'll put them on soon, buddy. At other points in the garden the soil has a bit more clay, and you don't have to dig so deep to reach the clay, but this is just some topsoil, and we didn't dig it deep enough to reach the clay. So we had, I think, 0.4 meters in the ground. This little one has become so brave, and he loves big swings now. He's dropped his shoes, which is a bit upsetting for him. Got to fix that for him in a moment. But yes, so that's why we put the bracing on, and now it is very sturdy, and the kids can swing as high as they like, and it's fine. So that's all very good. And as for this edging, we ended up deciding to move it forwards. One, so we didn't have to move the swing set back to get the bracing in, but also so that we could have a bit more planting space here. So I'd really love to frame this lawn area. Let's just say grass, because it's actually not lawn, it's just mowed grass. It's gonna die away when the summer heat comes along. But yeah, so we just wanted a little bit extra space for the plants, which we bought at Bunnings and we're hopefully going to put in today. So here we are. These are the plants we've selected from Bunnings. We didn't go anywhere fancy, but this is all I wanted really, just a bunch of cottage garden plants that would bring in the bees and be pretty and I guess fairly hardy. I didn't want anything too delicate that needs digging up every year or anything like that. Something you just whack in the ground, trim back every so often, and you know, bit of mulch and away you go. So definitely love a good garden, but I'm not really into the high maintenance gardens. So my job for today is to just decide where to put these, dig them into the ground and just replace the mulch, and also get rid of these weeds, which are now weeds because we've moved the edging, and yeah, just pull them all up and replace this with mulch. So that's the plan for today. These 2 jasmines, there are lots of different types of jasmine, and I, to be honest, don't actually know what this type is. For me, it's regular jasmine. So I'm going to put one just here, and you can see it's all twirled around a bamboo. So I'm going to do my best to very gently untwirl it from the bamboo. And I've got some horseshoe nails, which I'm just going to very gently tap into these poles, and so not to crush the stems, and hopefully have it like twirled all the way up as far as it will go. And then yeah, we just would love to have this covered with a lovely canopy of jasmine foliage and bloom. So it's definitely the season for jasmine. We've got one over the fence that's blooming and it smells so good, and we're just so excited for the idea of having lots of jasmine, the scent of jasmine floating in through our double doors over there. So we're just going to pop all these different plants in the ground, and yeah, hopefully it will bring the garden to life soon, especially as they grow and become a bit more prominent. Yeah, so I'm just going to lay those out, and I'll put the camera on a time lapse so you can see how that ends up looking. So I'm back outside again. I went inside for some lunch and I fed the kids and they're having some downtime inside now. And so the next thing to get on with is pegging this, like untangling this jasmine and trying to get it started going up the swing set. So hopefully I don't damage the plant. I've got quite a few of the plants in the ground already. Got a few more to go, but I thought I'd do this because I'm quite looking forward to doing this job. Something different, and I reckon it'll look pretty good when it's done. So I'm definitely loving the amount of flowers in the garden at the moment, and just anticipating what it's going to look like, even just after 1 or 2 months of spring weather. It's should be good. So very sadly, I have accidentally broken off these little sections, so I might put them in a vase and see if they end up flowering. I mean, they are vines, so I don't know how vines do in a vase. But anyway, they're too pretty to go to waste. But yeah, I don't, like, this one looks like it's been snapped for a little while, but I think I freshly snapped the other one today. So I shall try harder on the next one not to break any. But I am happy with how that looks. Well, when I first spoke to you today, it was about 10 o'clock in the morning, and now it's somewhere like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I've been busy all day and I'm a bit tired now, but I'm super stoked with the with progress. I managed to get it all done, even all of the weeding. So let me show you how it looks now. Here are the 2 plants that I planted along the garden edging, and the bees have been very pleased with this one in particular. So those I've mulched and weeded in that area. If you remember, it was just weeds this morning. The jasmine and the, oh, you can see my shadow, this they call it Irish mulch, I think, but it is also called pearlwort, so I don't know. It seemed to have a lot of names on the label. The jasmine, as you would have seen earlier, and here are the rest of the plants in the ground. We have the taller daisies. These should grow to about 1 by 1 meter, as with those daisies at the back. And here is the prostrate rosemary, yep, and that one is the common rosemary. Then oregano, and here is one of the Ruffles variety, purpleberry, lavender. This one is thyme, and I think it's the prostrate thyme. I think I have, did I have 1 or 2 thymes? Yes, this is the prostrate thyme, and this is the something to do with roses, lavender, and this one is the prostrate, no, this is the wild thyme, yep. So I'm really happy. I think the garden is looking so much better. And, oh, one more thing I forgot to show you. My daffodils are in bloom. They are looking so pretty. Is that gonna focus? Come on. I think my camera is working finally. I've been having a bit of issues with my camera and I think it's working. So let's just carry on and hope for the best. So today is Monday, a week later since we have been planting together. Those plants are doing really well. I'll have to show you out the back soon. They are definitely growing and haven't shown any signs of transplant shock, so that's a win. But I'm sitting here in the lounge at the moment because I'm waiting for a delivery. I ordered last week from online. I ordered a couple of items from Seed Heritage because they had a store-wide 30% off, or maybe it's just 30% off the sale stuff. But anyway, I do love a good bargain. So of course, there I was looking through and yeah, picked out a few things that I like. And so I'm pretty excited. I don't often order online. I don't often buy clothing, but okay, maybe it depends who you compare me to. But compared to my husband, I do buy clothes quite often, but I think compared to a lot of other women, maybe not so much. But that is coming in the post today, according to my notifications. And the reason I'm sitting out here in my front lounge room is to keep an eye on the front gate, because if the delivery person comes past, and seems to be a bit of a habit they've got, and if the gate is closed, they don't even bother seeing if there is a dog or if I'm away or out or anything. If the gate's closed, they just take my parcel away to the nearest post office, and then I have to go and pick it up. So I'm not too keen on that happening today. But I do have to keep the gate closed for the children because the youngest one does sometimes wander out onto the road, which is not helpful. So here I am guarding the gate. And also just looking on my laptop for some wall lights. So I'm also having a bit of a look on my laptop while I'm at it to look for some wall lights. I think they're called sconces for our lounge room. As I've commented on an earlier vlog, I'm not overly fond of the round kind of portal ones. Well, hello again. My delivery has arrived. So thankfully the delivery person actually tooted his horn at the gate so I could come and get the parcel. So that's really good. Definitely improvement on the last delivery experience. And so yeah, I'm very keen to open it up and try it on. I'm hoping I'm in focus, because I think what my previous issue was with the camera is that the automatic focus just kept looking and even though it seemed focused to me, I could hear that motor. So anyways, I've put it on manual focus. Hopefully you can see clearly enough, and I can get stuck into my parcel. Well, I did not open it very neatly, but here we are. I just got a cotton nightie, which I will not try on for you, but it's just a very simple kind of a blush pink colour, cotton, which is very good. The original price is $80. I don't think I would have been paying $80 for a simple cotton nightie, but yeah, I think I paid 25 or 24 or something like this, so much more reasonable in my book, especially considering there's a lot of things I could easily make for myself. So let's have a look at this leather belt. It's got a very subtle logo on the inside, just like stamped in. Yeah, it's just one of these ruched style belts, which you put around, and it should look a little bit more relaxed than some other styles of belt that I've seen. I'm not sure if it's coming up on the camera very well. I mean, obviously I'm not going to wear it over a shirt like this, but you get the idea. It's kind of just a bit, yeah, gathered. So that should look nice over a dress. And then my third item is a dress. So it's I'm hoping it will be a good mid-season dress, because it's got long sleeves, but it's cotton and breathable. So if the day does warm up, I shouldn't be having too much trouble with that. Sorry, I just keep looking at the viewfinder because I'm just worried now that I've turned the manual focus off. I'm a bit worried that I'm, you know, way out of focus, and I think, okay, this is really not a happy camera. I've got to get my husband to help me figure out what's going wrong with it. Still need that, actually.
So what's going to stress you out on this cook?
What's the hero of the dish?
How are you meeting the brief?
I just plan to follow the recipe to the T.
Oh.
2 teaspoons. Following the recipe to the T, obviously. Mm-hmm. Or to the left hand, depending on your saying. Your favourite saying. Oh, do you know what it said today?
What did it say?
It was saying, how do I open this chestnut?
Chestnut?
I was like, where did you get that from? And then he had another chestnut saying as well. He pulled out another chestnut saying only like 10 minutes later. Can't remember what it was. No, he said, that old chestnut. And where did he get all these chestnut sayings? From his teacher, apparently. I thought it was quite hilarious.
A bit nutty.
Good dad jokes in time for Father's Day coming up. Wednesday now. As you would have seen, I've just been packing away some grocery shopping. It's been a busy morning. I mean, I probably say that too many times, but we had book week this week, and so I've been the last 24 hours really trying to finish off a costume for my eldest son. He actually won, so hey, the effort paid off, right? And so yeah, we picked up some groceries on the way home from their little book parade. And yeah, so not much else is happening today. I'm just packing away the groceries into the crisper for the fridge. Oh, and this dress is the dress that I was trying to show you the other day, but the camera wasn't working, so that's why I never ended up showing you the whole thing. So as you can see, it's got like a just a little miniature cuff kind of thing. I don't know what you call these really narrow cuffs, but it's with a button, so it's not elasticated. You can't put it up over your elbow, which is something to be thoughtful of if you're trying to get dishes done. It's a bit easier if it's elasticated, but on the other hand, these I'm sure will last longer because the elastic won't break over time. So I'll just adjust the camera for you so I can show you the whole length of it. Whoop, bit rough. There we go. I'm a bit far away, so I'm not sure how well the sound picks up, but this is the entire dress. I've just popped this belt over the top, which did not come with it. So it's quite, so as you can see, it's quite loose and almost nightgown-ish when without the belt. So I do like to wear it with the belt. Wait, which way am I doing it? There we are. Which I also got from Seed. Actually, it's the second new dress that I've bought this week even, not just this month. I probably only buy clothes a handful of times a year. And yet I've bought 2 new dresses in 1 week, so that was a little bit of a splurge. I was in the shopping centre, which probably happens less and less these days with the busyness of life and I suppose the joy of being in the garden more often. Yeah, so I was checking all the different fast fashion stores, which usually I don't find anything I like. So I was quite surprised when I just saw this gorgeous blue cotton dress, which I'll just pop a clip of it in here because I'm not about to get changed right now. But when I do get around to it, I'll pop a little clip and put it here for you so you can see. It's just got this lovely V-neck. It's got some lovely ruching horizontally across the bodice, and also the puff sleeve, of course. So that's really a lovely surprise and very reasonably priced too. And so I think I paid only $39 for it. And to be honest, if I was to compare this seed dress that I'm wearing now, which I got on sale, but I think the original price was something like $189 or $179. If I compared them side by side, and if you hadn't have seen any price tags or any brand names, I probably would have picked this as being the fast fashion dress, simply because the fabric, the weave of it, if you can see, focus please, yeah, it's quite a loose weave. I'm not sure if you can see that, and so I'm definitely going to have to wear this with a petticoat or a slip, whereas the other one also doesn't have a slip inbuilt, but the fabric is just a much finer weave, more like a good quality sheet, I suppose. It's cotton, it's the same kind of fabric, so there's a bit more stiffness to it, and it is nice. This one's a bit more loose and drapey, but yeah. And I'm still happy with it, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that the cheap one was amazing and I regret this one. It's just, I guess I was surprised by the quality. I was more surprised by the quality of the one from Valley Girl, which I would consider sort of on the lower end of the range of quality and budget. And this, I would have never paid full price for it, because if I'm going to spend that much money, I want the whole outfit, and so I don't want to have to layer up or something just to make it decent enough to wear. So not overly fond of wearing slips under dresses, but it's got to be done sometimes, more often than not these days. All that to say, one of my next projects is going to be I'm going to have to make maybe a pair of silk slips. I really don't cope well with polyester, especially in the hot weather. And I don't know how many people really do cope well with these synthetic fabrics in summer, but I tend to get heat rash and I get it quite easily. So that's one reason why I stick away from polyester like the plague, as they say. So silk it will have to be. So it's going to be a pricey project, but hey, gotta do what you gotta do. I'm really not getting much of this packing away vegetables done, and am I? I'm not overly good at doing two things at once, but let's keep trying. Good morning. It is Friday morning. I can't actually quite remember where I left off, but it's going to be a beautiful sunny day today, and so we're out in the garden watering the plants to make sure that they last happily throughout the day. And yeah, it's just wonderful to look out and see the flowers blooming and the bees enjoying them. The weather is definitely starting to become more spring-like as we approach September. And yeah, thought I'll just take you for a little tour to see how things are growing in my garden. This is the almond, and as you can see, there are lots of leaves sprouting from it, so that's great. I need to tighten this cable today so that I can start pulling these down just that little bit further. Now that they've adjusted to this amount of tension over a few weeks, it's about time to give them a little bit more of a horizontal shape. So that's the almond, and the apricot is doing amazingly well. It has leaves everywhere, and so after a good water, hopefully this will look very sprightly. I'm not sure if this is just the delicacy of the new leaves or if they are maybe a little lacking for water. They're a bit curled, but yep, a good drink should do the trick. And finally we have our peach, which I'm very happy it's alive and it's not dead or anything, but I am slightly disappointed because only this side has shoots. And as you can see, this side has not produced any shoots, and if anything it's becoming more apparent that it's dying. So I've had a little look and I'm trying to see if I think there's some kind of bug that's attacked it from underneath this stem here. Perhaps taking advantage of a scratch or something on it, so that's a bit disappointing. I'm going to have to try and find a sprout or a shoot on the side to try and retrain in that direction. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. These flowers that we planted about 2 weeks ago, almost 2 weeks ago, are doing very well. The jasmine, I haven't seen any difference really since I planted it, but I suppose that's a good thing because that means it's not harmed. The pearlwort is growing just a little. This one, the one that we've got in the container over here, is actually growing quite noticeably. You can start to see it hang over the side, so that's fun. Yeah, and the daffodil bulbs that I placed in the soil, I'm not sure that I mentioned it on the last... I think I mentioned it that I was going to on the last vlog clip on Monday. But I ended up doing it toward the end of the day and just whacked them in as fast as possible. Actually, no, it was before then. It wasn't last Monday. Anyway, it's been they've been in the ground at least 3 weeks, I should think. And yeah, so they are starting to come up. Sorry, can't get my words out. They are starting to come up, and I was a bit worried because I didn't know if they would. So I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 shoots come up so far. And then I've got these gorgeous daffodils looking beautiful in the morning sunshine. So I'm gonna get on with some watering myself now. It's a beautiful morning and I'll be enjoying just getting some sun on my skin and not being too warm, because it won't be long before the summer hits and we'll all have too much sun. So yeah. Is that funny, is it? Oh, you're making it crazy. Crazy, crazy. Oh no.
Done!
Yeah, done, are you? Oh, okay, good. I have just thoughtfully disposed of 2 snails who have been causing creating carnage, don't know what the saying is, in my vegetable garden. So these chewed leaves have evidence of silvery trails, so hopefully that's dealt with the problem, and hopefully the netting is still doing a good job here. But I'm very excited to say that my broccoli is beginning to grow. Look at that cute little beginnings of broccoli. And I mean, this one has not really taken off, this small one here. We'll see what that does. And I'm hoping these are the cabbage starting to grow. We just have little curled leaves, and I don't think it's a head of cabbage per se. I don't know. I've never grown cabbage before, so I don't know what it looks like when it's starting to form a head. Hopefully something like this. And what else did I grow? I've also got cauliflower. Oh, darling, you okay? Yeah. So we're supposed to have some cauliflower in here somewhere. I'm just not sure which ones are which. Yeah. So we'll see when they get a little bit bigger. See if any of the cauliflowers survived. And then here we have a blueberry. the blueberry has produced lots of flowers this year, so I'm not sure how many of these will turn into actual blueberry berries, but yeah, it seems to be doing well. And I've just turned on the drip hose, which I've got the end of it. I didn't really want to trim it, so because eventually it will go across from this garden bed to this garden bed, and so I didn't want to trim it, and so for now it's just curled up and in the blueberry pot watering the blueberry, so as not to waste the water. Well, as lovely as this morning is, and as much as I'm enjoying the sunshine and my garden, I do need to head inside and get the slow cooker on because we are having some guests over for dinner tonight. So I want to make sure that it's properly cooked and nice and soft and tender before we want to serve. So got to head inside, see if I've got a good recipe for some kind of sauce. Otherwise the meat's just going in on its own with some basic herbs maybe, but got to do something. Hello again, everybody. It is now Tuesday, actually. I think I last spoke to you on Friday. So it is evening. I am working on just undoing some stitching. The project is to turn this pair of pants, which is a favorite, fits very comfortably. It's just the best fit I've encountered in a long time. And for that reason, I'd love to duplicate them. I'm happy to sacrifice this pair because they are polyester and not very breathable. And also, I mean, they're quite a bright color. There's too many greens going on here, obviously, with the background, but to see it properly, like it is looking, might be, I don't know if it's quite true to color. Yeah, that's probably fairly true to color. And so, yeah, it's very bold, and sometimes I want something a bit more subtle. And also with the polyester, I often get heat rash from wearing polyester, so I'm quite happy to sacrifice this pair if it means I have two even better pairs. Also, I could do with an extra couple of inches on the bottom, because I would like it to reach down towards the top of my boot without leaving a little gap. Yeah, so I'm going to do a video with a bit more specifics in case you're actually interested in how I'm doing this. So I'll upload that as a separate video, but for now I'm just gonna get on with this project quietly, and I'll probably just show you when it's finished actually. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Today is now the 1st of September, so spring has sprung. Oddly enough though, after a week of sunshine, we now have rain expected today and have had a misty morning. So it doesn't feel like spring has sprung, but technically we are now in spring. So yes, which also means that we've come to the end of our August vlog. I hope you've really enjoyed it. I'm still trying to get the hang of figuring out what content is going to be interesting for you to watch and which is a little more boring. I'm still trying to get the balance right, so I do welcome your feedback. As for the trousers, which I started unpicking and was going to create, as you probably have guessed, because I haven't showed you anything yet, they are not finished. All I've managed to do is unpick down to each little individual piece. And so I'm about to lay that out on the table and get sewing and hopefully put together some trousers at least by the end of today or tomorrow, hopefully. But hey, I don't want to put too much pressure on myself because it's always a bit of a balancing act with the kids and the food, trying to get everyone meals on the table and, you know, just ticking over the regular housework and stuff like that. So that's where we're at, and I'm sure if you tune in for our next vlog, if you tune in next vlog for September, I'm sure I will be showing you all about that. And so thank you for watching right to the end, and I will hopefully see you again soon. Bye.